Okay, let's begin actually mixing this project now, step by step. So locate the found bundle files that's here and click on the file that's entitled 𝗧𝗵𝗃 if you should so choose to follow along with the arranger feature enabled. If you choose to follow along without the arranger feature, that's fine too. You can just click on the top file that's located in here called 𝗧𝗵𝗃. Okay, let's begin. The first dialog box that's going to come up is it's going to ask you to unpack the bundle. Then it's going to ask you for a location to unpack it, and you can click on this dialog box here to set it anywhere you'd like. Likewise, you can also set your audio path anywhere you would like. And then, as previously stated, we have the store project audio in its own folder and create one file per clip. I'm going to go ahead and unpack the bundle with these default settings in place. Alright, so now if you've unpacked your bundle file along with me, then you should see everything on your screen exactly the same way that I do. I'm going to go ahead and make a few aesthetic changes before we begin. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set the project to full screen mode, which can be done using these two arrows here. Now I'm going to collapse the help module and the browser. Okay, as we work through this mix together, I'm going to be using my 15-step mix system. Now, this doesn't mean that my 15 steps are the definitive guide in order to mixing a song every single time. However, with a system in place, it will help you to get from point A to point B much faster and with a lot more clarity. Included in this module is a PDF guide called the 15-Step Mix System that you can download and look at while we're doing this on screen. It should look something like this. So step number 1 of this 15-step mix system is to import all the tracks into your DAW of choice. Because we've used the bundle file, this step is already completed. Step number 2 is to name every track that doesn't fit into a pre-named slot within your template, or in this sense, because yet again, we're using the bundle file, everything is already named. Step number 3 is to make sure that they are color coordinated with all applicable track icons. And yet again, because we have used this bundle file, everything is already in place. Therefore, the first 3 steps of the 15-step mix system are already in place because we've used the bundle file. So we're going to be starting out now on step 4, which is to bottom out all of the faders and to switch the master bus into mono. So the easiest way for us to bottom out all of the faders at once is to go up to Views and select Console View from this drop-down box here. By default, that's going to pull up your console view in a small tab at the bottom of your screen. I'm going to now select that tab and bring it up to the top where it should then make it full screen. Now, it's imperative to note that on the right side here is where your buses are located, and on the left side is where your tracks are located. So if I hit Control A in the left side, it's going to select all of the tracks. If I hit Control A in the right side, it's going to select all of the buses. So if I want to bottom out all of the faders on the tracks themselves, then I want to go over to the track panel side on the left hand and hit Control A. Now, by using the quick grouping feature within Cakewalk by BandLab, I'm going to hold the Control button and simply move all of the faders down at once. Now all of my faders are bottomed out and I'm ready to begin switching now the master bus into mono, which can be done with this here. Yet again, it is imperative to note that by switching the master bus into mono, this is simply just a creative choice that I have chose to make. If you choose to mix without switching the master bus in mono, that's completely up to you. However, I would make the argument that there is a good reason for switching the master bus into mono. One of the first points that I would make is that by switching the master bus to mono, you're now able to hear the tracks' phase relationship with one another. For instance, if you pull up an acoustic guitar and an acoustic DI at the same time, you'll be able to hear whether or not the two tracks have a good phase relationship because the master bus is folded down to mono, and now the two tracks are laying on top of each other. Therefore, any stereo masking of those phase relationships is removed from the equation. Likewise, when folding the mix down to mono, when you begin to make your EQ adjustments, you're going to be focusing on the big wins, and now that all of the instruments are folded down on top of each other, it forces you to use the EQ a little more creatively to get things to fit within that space. As with most things in music production, you'll find that there are ways that work for you that don't work for others, and vice versa. So therefore, just take this with a grain of salt and mix along with me and see if it actually helps you. Maybe it's something that you want to implement in your mixes down the road. And if not, that's completely fine.